So in this week's video, whilst I'm working on my own cafe racer build, we're going to go over the top 5 mistakes that I believe that beginners come across when building cafe racers. We've all been there, and these top 5 come from my own silly mistakes over the years. I've been riding and dismantling and all sorts since the age of 4. So I've come across quite a few errors that I've got no one else to blame apart from myself. So from experience, here is my top 5 mistakes that beginners make. So number 1 is taking on a bike that's far too complicated for you, especially if you're a beginner. That could be in one of 3 ways, I believe. It's a complicated bike in itself, like this amazing Harley, which, you know, if you aspire to build something like this, then brilliant, but it is going to be complicated. The second one could be a bike with too much that needs doing to it, so your engine might not be running, and then that leads to more problems. Or even if it's a complicated build, set yourself simple goals, set your achievement bar at a reasonable level, and then you can work on your builds as you go along. The number 2 reason is buying a bike and false pretences. Say if you buy a bike off Craigslist or eBay, and they tell you that the bike is 90% complete, you end up buying it there and then without actually seeing the bike, and you get it home and you realise that it's actually 70% complete. All your major parts are missing, you have a few pistons missing, you have the majority of your electronics missing, so watch out for that. Another thing is a bike that's registered in a different country to where you are. Here in the UK especially, we've got to jump through some... Here in the UK, we've got to jump through some hoops and hurdles to register a bike that's not natively registered in the UK. There are ways around this. There are tests, certificates, all sorts you can do. Just bear that in mind, it might be a sticking point for you. So do your research before you either import a bike from abroad or buy a bike from a UK retailer that's not already been V5 registered. So number 3 on my list is rushing the build. I know I've been there myself, where you just want to get the bike finished, you want to start cutting things, you want to dismantle it. Wait right there. Take a step back from your build. Like my dad says, measure twice, cut once. I hate myself sounding like him, but it's absolutely true, and if he sees this video, he's gonna have a smirk. Measure twice, cut once. It's easier to cut little chunks off your, especially if you're going to hack your bike away with an angle grinder. It's easier to cut in little sections until you get the right shape, rather than cutting too much that you want and then having to weld it back on, because obviously you're going to be weakening your frame that way. And also, if you're getting rid of little foot pegs and things, think first how you're going to remount that foot peg, whether it's going to be as strong. So yeah, do a lot of thinking before you start hacking it away. And another thing with rushing build as well is that you tend to strip everything off the bike. That's the first thing that anyone does, is they strip the bike into pieces, and before you know it, you don't know what piece goes where. You've got your Haynes manual, you're flicking through the pages, but you haven't a clue. And I've seen so many bikes being sold on eBay that come in boxes. My own Suzuki came in 3 or 4 boxes, completely stripped, nothing went anywhere. And if you don't have that knowledge or patience to be able to put it back together, then take your time, video document it as you're stripping it, or take photographs so that you know exactly what goes where. Please don't strip it all and then lay it out on the floor flat. So number 4 on my list, 4, is cutting costs. I know that as you're working on your project and you see your costs slowly rising, that you want to save a few quid here or there. Don't forget that this is a moving object. You're going to be sat on it in nothing but a helmet and a few leathers, going 70 or more depending on the kind of rider you are. Your life depends on this, so don't cut any costs. On the visual side of things, of course, you know, if you powder coat your frame, it's going to be more durable, but when it comes to your safety, please don't cut costs. Use the correct welds, the correct joints where you need them on your frame, the correct brakes, the correct hoses. You might see things cheaper. Don't go for those. Go for what you know is good. Please don't play with your life. That is an absolute serious note from me. And if you're going to be selling it to someone else is going to be putting their life in your hands, in your build. I know in this country anyway, there are MOTs and things that you have to pass, but there are always things that can be overlooked, so don't cut costs, especially on safety. And the last final mistake that beginners make is simply they give up. Don't give up, persevere. Same with this bike here. Perseverance, and it will get you through to the end. Again, referring back to what I see on eBay, so many builds that are uncompleted. They're so close, but there's just something that they can't finish and they give up. So don't give up, persevere. If you start the job, then finish it, and honestly it will be worth your weight in gold by the end. If you want to sell it then to get the cash back, then do that, but please don't give up. That's all from me for now. There'll be another video next week. I'm working on the bike this weekend, so there will be a video specifically on the development of the Suzuki, so subscribe to watch that. And if you like this channel, then please subscribe, and there'll be more builds along the way, more videos. Hopefully there'll either be a Yamaha or a BMW build on its way, so I'll be taking you that from start to finish, so please subscribe.